y'all, welcome back to In the Kitchen with Baker Girl. Thank you, Jesus. It is another beautiful day to be in the kitchen, and today we are going to have a bit of fun. We are making one pan sauce pan brownies. Yes, those delicious fudgy brownies that we all know and love. That's what we're going to be making today. So preheat your oven, roll up your sleeve, get out your chocolate and your butter, because today we are making fudgy chocolatey brownies. Now, before I get started in the video, don't forget to subscribe. Please hit the notification bell so you won't miss out anytime I upload a new video, a new recipe, a new short, a new idea. And comment. Leave your comments and let me know what you think of what you see so far. I love to hear from you guys. I put your feedback into action. So drop your feedback in the comment and let me know. I like hearing from you guys. So let's jump into this delicious fudgy brownie recipe. Now, as usual, I'm going to run you over the ingredients really quickly. Now, these are brownies, so of course you need some chocolate. So here I have some unsweetened natural cocoa powder, not to be confused with Dutch cocoa powder. I also have some chocolate chips, and I have a combination of dark and milk chocolate, which make these 3 chocolate fudgy brownies. I hadn't thought about that. This is 3. So yes, this is 2 types of chocolate chips. You can use bar chocolate and chop it up or break it up or however you want to. You can use all dark, you can use all milk, you can use semi-sweet. It doesn't matter, although it does affect the sugar. So obviously the sweeter your sugar, you want to tamp back a little bit on the regular sugar. If you're using all dark chocolate, unless you like a little bit of a bitterness in your brownies, which I don't think none of us do, even me. So you might want to increase the sugar just a little bit, about a tablespoon or so. I have some eggs because good brownies need eggs. I also have some brewed coffee. Now this I'm going to add in there. It just enhanced the chocolate flavor. I have some vanilla bean paste. I have a bit of flour, not much, just enough to kind of hold the mixture together. And I also have some butter because brownies are better with butter. So I have 1 stick of unsalted butter. Now, to start the recipe, you will need a skillet. And I'm just going to use the skillet to melt the butter and the chocolate. Just cut the butter up into chunks. It helps it melt a little better with the chocolate because the chocolate and the butter start to melt together evenly. And since they're both in smaller pieces, they will melt. They'll melt together. So into the pan, the butter goes. Then I'm going to add in the chocolate chips or chunks or whatever you choose to use. Just add that in. And then I'm going to go over to the stove and melt this. You want to melt this stirring very gently on a very low heat. If you want to use a double boiler, you can. I have baked numerous pans of brownies, so I feel comfortable enough to do this directly on the stove. But again, if you're not sure, you can always put it over a double boiler, a simmering pot of water, and then just let it melt gently that way. Whatever you do, you don't want to scorch the chocolate, and that's the whole point. So, okay, so the chocolate mixture is nice and melted and nice and smooth. So now I'm just going to pour this into my trusty mixing bowl and just pour it right in. So that's why I call these saucepan brownies. You could mix them in this little saucepan, but I'm not going to because you just don't have a whole lot of room. So I've got the chocolate and the butter melted. I'm going to go ahead and stir in my sugar. So in goes my sugar. Unceremoniously dumped. And I'm going to add in a pinch of salt too, just to make sure that I don't forget to add in that pinch of salt because it's so easy to forget about the salt. I'm also going to add in the vanilla bean paste. That smells really nice. Now, how much vanilla bean paste you want to add is, I mean, really up to you. Brownies don't need a ton, but I'm adding a ton because I really like vanilla bean paste. And I'm just going to whisk these things together. Let me give myself a little bit more space here because I just about got everything off the tray. So I'm just going to whisk the chocolate, starting out slowly so we don't end up with chocolate all over ourselves. Whisk that together. And don't worry if the mixture looks a little curdled at this point. You're not really doing anything. You're just combining butter and chocolate. There is nothing here to emulsify these two, so that's why it'll look curdled. But no worries. I'm gonna add in the cocoa powder. Okay, that also was unceremoniously, unwisely dumped. When you add yours in, just be a little bit more gentle with it, please. Don't just chuck it in there like I did. And just mix this in. Now we add in the eggs. 3 eggs goes in. And now you'll see the mixture start to change because you're adding in protein. And eggs are very high in protein. So the batter will automatically change as soon as you add those eggs in. Whisk it in. Just gotta be careful. I'm a vigorous stirrer, but want to make sure I'm not getting chocolate all over the place. Okay, and then I'm going to add in that brewed coffee that I mentioned earlier. Go ahead and stir it in. It'll help to loosen batter up a little bit and also add a nice caramelly note to the brownies because coffee brings out the flavor of chocolate. And that's just one thing left on my tray, which is my flour. So I'm going to go ahead and get the tray out of the way and bring this over. Now, at this point, you can be fairly brisk in whisking because you haven't added anything in here that would make your brownies a little tough. So you can be fairly brisk, as I'm being. I'm trying to be careful. I don't want to get chocolate all over myself. But you can be fairly brisk with your whisking. So, give it a good mix. You can see how it was looking a little curdled at first. Now, those eggs make all the difference. Now I'm going to, ooh, it's already glossy looking too. That's a good sign. Now I'm going to add in my flour, and I think I'm going to sift in my flour. Now, why sift the flour? At this point, you don't want to go too wild with mixing because you're adding flour in. So the less chances of a lump being in your flour, the easier you'll be able to mix it in. And then I'm being gentle deliberately and just stirring it in. You want these brownies to stay as gooey and chewy as possible, and not over mixing them will set you on the road to nice and chewy and gooiness. Not over baking them too. Speaking of baking, the oven is preheated to 350 degrees. Okay, that's good. No more whisking. We're done. Now we just need to get them in the pan. Now here I have a glass baking dish. This is a rectangular glass baking dish. You can make these in a metal pan. You can use a square. The shape of the pan really depends on the amount of brownie batter that you have and also how you want to cut your brownies. Now, I prefer to bake my brownies technically in a metal pan, but for this amount, I know my metal pan will be too big. So, and you don't want thin brownies, and that's what I mean about the size pan. If you want very thin brownies, use a bigger pan. But I don't think anybody wants thin brownies, so I'm not using a thin pan. And I am going to line this with a piece of parchment because wrestling brownies out of a baking dish is nobody's idea of fun. So I'm using a very stubborn piece of parchment, but that's okay. I'm just going to lightly spray it. You be quiet. I'm going to lightly spray it, and then the brownie batter will kind of push it down. Glass baking dishes are stubborn the best of days, especially if you're trying to put parchment paper in them. Okay, so look at that beautiful brownie batter. Oh, wow. Okay, so in she goes. In goes the batter. And it'll shrink the paper down as you pour it in. There we are. Get it all in there. Now, the key to a good brownie is really don't overbake them. If you overbake them, they start heading into cakey category. So when the top is set, but it's still gooey. I mean, obviously, I don't mean like molten gooey, but when they're still soft in the center, you know it's done. Okay, that's good. And then I'll just smooth this out. I'm just going to take the spatula and kind of smooth this out. They will spread, but take a long time for brownies to kind of decide where they want to go in life. So I'm just going to give them a little help and spread them out. Okay, so these are going to bake at 350 degrees for about 25 minutes. As I said earlier, until the top is set and they're set around the edges, but you stick a skewer in it, it will still come out a little bit gooey. Now, don't forget, brownies, the timing matter because carryover baking is a real thing for brownies, and they will continue to cook when they come out of the oven. If they are done, and I mean done, when you take it out of the oven, yeah, they will be overdone by the time the carryover cooking finishes them off. So as when you're baking chocolate chip cookies, pull them out of the oven a little earlier and then let them sit at room temperature, and the carryover cooking will finish up the cooking. So into the oven she goes. Okay, so the brownies are done. They have completely cooled. Now, that's the thing about brownies. You want to make sure you let them cool completely before you even think of cutting them, because they'll really, especially fudgy brownies, they'll just fall apart. So these have cooled nicely. So all I need to do is just pick up the piece of parchment and lift it out. And I can cut them into squares. So, time to cut these into squares. Now, I'm going to cut these into more serving pieces. So, instead of cutting it in half, I'm actually going to cut it, instead of cutting it into fours, I want to cut it into sixths, which can be a little bit complicated, but no worries. We'll just eyeball it. You can pull out a ruler if you want to, but I'm just going to eyeball it. And brownies cut better the cooler they are. They cut better because it's chocolate, obviously, and so you don't want chocolate. If your brownies are super sticky, you can either return them to the refrigerator, or you can spray your knife or wipe your knife off in between cuts. That helps a lot too. And then I'm just going to cut this into thirds. So there we are. This gives us some nice pieces. And I like to turn it around and then cut here. You can smell the chocolate. Woohoo! Okay, perfect. You see, there was a little bit of stickiness to my knife, but not excessively so, because they are not, they're cooled, and they're completely cooled, so they cut a lot better. Now I can just transfer them to my serving tray. And some people are, ooh, look at the fudginess. Some people are edge piece people. Some people are all two corners people. Some people just like the back. You would be surprised at how many people come up to me and go, I want an edge piece. I want an edge piece. There are more edge piece people, I'm getting tongue-tied. There are more edge piece brownie people in the world, I have learned, than there are middle brownie people. So I'm curious, which one are you guys? Are you edge or middle? Leave a comment and let me know. And I will be more than happy to tell you I am a middle piece person. Always have been, always will be. Put 2 pieces in the middle like that. And they are done. Ooh. Now I've got fudgy brownie fingers, but ooh, they look good and they smell good. Now I get to tuck in. Woohoo! I get to tuck in and have a sample. Great. So which one shall I pick? Now, y'all, I was serious about the question. Are you a edge brownie person, or are you a middle square brownie person, or do you simply not care? Leave a comment and let me know your thoughts, because as I said, this is serious business. You'd be surprised at how many people are committed edge brownie people, and they feel insulted if you give them a middle. I'm exactly opposite. I like the middle. So since I like the middle, that's what I'm going for. But leave a comment and let me know which one are you. Now, I have been watching. Here's a little teeny square. This is what I'm going to be sampling. Ooh, it's so fudgy. And this is enough for me to have a bite. So let's have a bite. Thank you, Jesus. It melts in your mouth. I taste the coffee. Really taste the coffee. It's not overwhelming, but if you like coffee with your brownies, we should call these espresso brownies. That's delicious. Did I just eat that whole? I did. Well, it was only a bite. Definitely serve these with milk. I need milk. What am I thinking? All right, y'all, I got my milk. I got that set straight quick. You need milk with brownies. And these are the perfect dunking buddies with a good cold glass of milk. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget, the recipe for these brownies will be in the description box below. So check it out. And the good Lord willing, I will see you guys again in another video. Take care, y'all. Bye. I'm going in. That's good.